Chapter 5 Baba's return to Shirdi with Chand Patil's marriage party. Chand Patil, a well-to-do Mohammedan, lived in Dhoop village in Aurangabad district. While on a trip to Aurangabad, he lost his horse and could not trace it even after a desperate search for 2 months. As he was returning home disappointed, he found a queer man, a young fakir, a mendicant Muslim who lives by begging under a mango tree. The fakir wore a kafni, a long robe, a cap on his head, and carried a satka, short stick, under his armpit. The fakir called Chand Patil by his name and advised him to look for his mare in the adjacent fields. To his astonishment, Chand Patil found his mare in the place indicated by the fakir. He returned to the fakir, realizing that he was no ordinary man, but a great saint. There he saw the fakir making arrangements to smoke through a chillam pipe which required 2 things, namely fire to light the lamp and water to wet the piece of cloth. By thrusting the prongs forcefully into the ground, the fakir produced burning charcoal, and when he hit the ground with his satka, water began to ooze from the land, thus fulfilling both the requirements. The fakir took a puff out of the chillam and handed it over to Chand Patil to smoke. Mesmerized by the spectacle, which displayed the fakir's extraordinary abilities, Chand Patil invited him to his house. The fakir accepted the invitation and stayed with him for some time. After some days, Chand Patil's brother-in-law was to be married to a bride from Shirdi. So, when the marriage party came to Shirdi, the fakir accompanied them and thereafter remained at Shirdi till his Mahasamadhi. How the fakir got the name Sai. On reaching Shirdi, the marriage party alighted near the Khandoba temple in Bhakta Mahalsapati's field. As soon as the young fakir got down, Mahalsapati accosted him, "Aau Sai, welcome Sai." Thenceforth, the fakir came to be addressed and known as Sai Baba. Sai Baba, even as a youngster, began to stay in a deserted masjid in the company of saints like Devi Das, Janaki Das, and Gangagir, etc. Once, Saint Anandanath, a disciple of Akkalkot Maharaj, came to Shirdi and on seeing Baba foretold, "He is not an ordinary man, but a precious diamond in reality. You will realize this in the near future." Baba's dress and daily routine. Sai Baba dressed like an athlete and grew his hair long in his younger days. He planted flowering shrubs and watered them daily with the help of 2 raw earthen pots supplied to him by Vaman Tatya every day. He drew water from the well and carried the pitchers on his shoulders. As a result of his toil and labor, there grew a flower garden. On this site stands the present Samadhi Mandir. The story of Padukas, footprints under the neem tree. Bhai Krishnaji Ali Bhakkar used to regularly visit Akkalkot to seek Akkalkot Maharaj's blessings. Once Maharaj appeared to him in a dream and said, "Now Shirdi is my resting place. Go and offer your worship there." So Bhai changed his plan of going to Akkalkot, came to Shirdi and worshipped Baba. In memory of his vision, he prepared the padukas and installed them under the neem tree on an auspicious day after performing due ceremonies and formalities. A different version of the story runs as follows. According to Mr. B.V. Dio, a retired Mamaltar of Thane, Dr. Ramarao Kothare and his compounder Bhai Krishnaji came to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. Bhai, along with Sagun Merunayak and G.K. Dikshit, felt the need to install a memorial commemorating Baba's first visit to Shirdi and his penance under the holy tree. The proposal was made to Dr. Ramarao Kothare, who, with the suggestions given by Upasani Maharaj of Khandoba temple, got the padukas made at Bombay. When they arrived, Mr. G.K. Dikshit carried them on his head from Khandoba temple to Dwaraka Mai in a procession. Baba touched the padukas, saying, "These are the feet of the Lord," and advised the devotees to install them under the neem tree on the Shravana Purnima of 1912 AD. The following sloka is inscribed on the stone below the padukas that describes the greatness of neem tree and Baba's yogic powers. Sada nimba vrikshasya mooladhivasat sudhasravinam tittamapyapriyantam tarum kalpa vrikshadhikam sadhayantam namamishwaram satgurum sainatham. Out of the total expenses of rupees 100, a Parsi devotee from Bombay contributed rupees 25, while the rest was collected through the subscriptions. Wrestling bout with Mohiuddin Tamboli and a change in life. Baba was very fond of wrestling. Once, he had a wrestling bout with Mohiuddin Tamboli. In this fight, Baba was defeated and a feeling of dispassion overcame him. From then onwards, Baba entirely changed his mode of living and attire. He started wearing the long flowing kafni and covered his head with a piece of cloth. He was content wearing torn and worn out rags. Baba used a jute sack for his seat as well as his bed. His belongings comprised of a chillum, a tumbril, tin pot, and a satka, short stick. He wore no shoes or sandals. Baba spoke very little and answered only when he was questioned. By the day he sat under the neem tree or the shade of a babul tree. By night he sat in front of a dhuni, sacred fire, to ward off cold, facing south and resting his left hand on the railing of an old dilapidated masjid. In that dhuni, Baba offered egoism, desires, and all worldly thoughts as oblation and always uttered the words, Allah Malik, God is the sole owner. Before coming to live in the masjid, Baba lived in a place called Takiya for a long while. He used to dance blissfully with anklets tied to his legs and sing with tender love. Baba frequently visited the house of Bala Sahib Dengle in Neemgaon. Bala Sahib's brother Nana Sahib had no son even after his second marriage. With Baba's blessings, a son was born to him, and thereafter Baba's fame began to spread far and wide, and many devotees like Nana Sahib Chandorkar and Keshav Chidambar started coming to Shirdi to see Baba. Turning water into oil. Sai Baba was fond of lights and used to keep lamps burning in the masjid all night. For these, he regularly borrowed oil from baniyas or shopkeepers. After some deliberations, the shopkeepers declined to give him oil intentionally. Unperturbed by their refusal, Baba returned to the masjid and took the tin pot which contained a few drops of oil. He poured water into it, drank it, and then spewed it into the container once again. Having consecrated the water thus, he filled the empty lamps with it and lighted them. To the amazement of the onlookers, including the Baniyas, the lamps filled with water kept burning the whole night. Realizing Baba's greatness, the Baniyas repented and apologized to him. Pseudo Guru Jawhar Ali. One fakir named Jawhar Ali came to live in Rahata. He was learned and had an appealingly sweet tongue, which brought him closer to many religious and devout people of the village. He once came to Shirdi, stayed with Baba at the masjid, and declared Baba as his disciple. This guru, teacher, was unaware of the disciple's worth, but the disciple, Baba, was familiar with the guru's defects. Yet, Baba never disrespected him. He only demonstrated to the villagers how one should wholeheartedly surrender one's ego at the Guru's feet and sincerely perform the duties of a disciple to attain self-realization. The fakir took Baba with him to stay at Rahata, but on repeated requests of the people of Shirdi, both of them returned to Shirdi. After a few days, Jawhar Ali came face to face in a discussion with Saint Devidas and was defeated. He accepted ignorance and fled from Shirdi. Subsequently, he visited Baba again, prostrated before him, and cleared the delusion that he was Guru and Baba his disciple. Om Namo Sainathaya. Shanti Shanti Shanti. End of chapter 5.